Hi, welcome to our channel of IGNOU Audiobooks, Indira Gandhi National Open University. School of Agriculture, SOA. Diploma in Dairy Technology, DDT. BPVIO12 Dairy Equipment and Utilities. Block 1 Dairy Equipment and their Maintenance. Unit 1 Materials, their Characteristics and Selection of Equipment, 1.0 Objectives. After reading this unit, we should be able to identify various materials used in fabrication of dairy equipment and machineries. Specify the important properties of material and their selection for milk and milk products. Protect plant and machineries and give them long working life. Select proper material required for dairy plant. Describe the major specification of equipment before purchase. Determine and select appropriate service equipment. 1.1 Introduction. Equipment and machineries used for milk handling processing plant require special characteristics. They are required to handle and process an edible food material and hence should not react with it. They are required to work under hot and humid environment, hence, should be non-corrosive. They are also required to handle chemicals during washing, hence, should have enough protection against any damage. Milk utensils in our villages are commonly made of earthenware or they are zinc plated or galvanized iron or made of brass or copper. Modern dairy utensils are, however, made of tinned iron, aluminum alloys, or stainless steel. The product contact surfaces are increasingly being made of stainless steel, common 18:8. Stainless steel refers to 18% chromium and 8% nickel. The final choice will, however, depend on the ease of fabrication, availability and the overall cost. From the point of fabrication, the machinability and weldability are the main factors and, therefore, should be kept in mind. Other properties like specific weight of the material, thermal conductivity and expansion, resistance to corrosion, brittleness and hardness are also important. All of these have bearing on the selection. 1.2 Types of materials. Materials required for fabrication are classified into I. Metals and E. Non-metals. Metals are further grouped as I. Ferrous and E. Non-ferrous. Ferrous metals, containing iron as major constituent along with other elements, hence, vary in their strength, machining properties, etc. Wrought iron is the purest form of iron, having minimum carbon and other contents. It can easily be machined and welded and can be used for high-temperature applications such as steam supply lines, heating coils, exhaust lines, etc. Similarly, cast iron is different, having carbon content to 5 to 4% and can be casted through mold into any shape. However, it is tough towards machining and welding. Furnace bars, jaws of crushing and grinding machine, bases of pillars, etc. are usually made of this type of iron. Let us discuss in detail. I. Steel. Steel is an iron alloy with carbon between 0.5 to 2.0%. In addition, small amount of phosphorus, sulfur, silicon and manganese are added to change their uses. Mild. Steel with 0.05 to 0.3% carbon is most commonly used steel. Vessels, pipes and fitting are generally made of this iron. This type of steel can be most easily fabricated and machined. Medium carbon steel with 0.3 to 0.5% carbons improves the strength, hence, shafts, springs, bolts, etc. are made from this material. High carbon steel with carbon content above 0.5% to 2% is very hard. Therefore, cutting tools like blades, saw, chisels, etc. are made of this type of iron. E. Alloy steel. Alloy steel is special steel having selected properties. They are made by adding nickel, chromium, silicon, manganese, molybdenum, titanium, etc. They become highly corrosion resistant and are used for heat exchangers, milk pipelines, and all dairy equipment. Special mention may be made of stainless steel with 18% chromium and 8% nickel. This steel is best as corrosion resistant steel. The sheets are furnished in several degrees of polish covering the range from plain finish to a mirror finish. The number 4 is finish considered good for general daily use. There are over 100 types of stainless steels. Austenitic stainless steel with American Iron and Steel Institute, SE, 300 series is most common SS used for fabrication of dairy equipment. E. Non-ferrous metals. Non-ferrous metals such as aluminum and its alloys are used selectively. Milk cans are usually made of aluminum due to its lightweight. Ladders, door and windows, and some frames are also made of aluminum. Aluminum is chemically rather stable to milk and milk products. Its greatest fault is its vulnerability to attack by alkaline detergents. The surface gets pitting type corrosion causing small roughness, hence cannot be cleaned easily. Copper zinc alloys are used for tubing, bushes, and heat exchanges. It is not a very common metal for dairy industries. IV. Non-metal materials. Certain non-metal materials commonly used in the dairy industry include glass, rubber, plastic, etc. These are used in very small quantity for special applications, such as hose pipe for water, gasket material for plates, flanges or bolts. Glass is used for viewing inside any vessel. Most commonly used synthetic rubbers are neoprene, nitrile, butyl, silicone, fluoroelastomer or Viton for sealing or gaskets. These materials do not react with milk or milk product and offer leak-proof joint. Packing. Certain plastics used in dairies are crates, conveyors, and packaging. Material. Wood is normally not recommended due to its porosity and its vulnerability to microbial attack. It is mostly used as building material. 1.3 Properties of material. The basic properties are categorized under chemical, physical and mechanical groups. Chemical properties such as composition of material and structure help in understanding the degree of strength given to material through various heat treatments. Physical properties help in understanding possible applications, such as selection on specific weight, thermal conductance of heat, etc. The mechanical properties help in the design and fabrication of equipment. Strength of material indicates the capacity of material to withstand external force. Hence, tensile and compressible stresses. Stiffness and rigidity is a measure to resist deformation. Ductility is measure of elongation. Hardness represents the surface characteristics against scratch. Material of construction should not react with milk and milk product and should be durable. Usually equipment is constructed with more than one metal or alloy due to requirement of strength, function, economy or hygiene. The materials must meet following conditions as far as possible. 1. Non-toxic, non-flavor imparting and should not affect the keeping quality of the product. 2. Insoluble in the product and non-absorbent quality. 3. Resistant to corrosion. 4. Easy to clean and attractive. 5. Strong and lightweight. 6. Good heat conductor. 7. Low cost and easily available. 8. Easy in manufacturing. 1.4 Corrosion and its prevention. After having learnt about materials used for the fabrication of dairy equipment, it is now important to learn as to how to increase the life of machine and equipment. Metals employed for their fabrication becomes unstable and tend to react with environment within the dairy plant. Dairies have hot and humid environment and equipment come in contact with detergents and other chemicals used for their cleaning and sanitization. Corrosion is a process of electrochemical decay. The amount of corrosion will depend on the type and composition of materials. Corrosion will be greatly affected by the presence of moisture or water, the temperature of surroundings and the chemical nature of the product in contact. 2 Dissimilar metals. If used during construction, the corrosion will be fast. Non-metals are considered corrosion resistant. Now question is that how to prevent or reduce the corrosion. It can be done by protective coating on metals, equipment. Most of the equipment are generally made from stainless steel, which does not need any protective coating. But certain frames, supports or the components of equipment are made from other metals. These could be protected by metallic coating such as hot dipping, electroplating, metal spray coating, or cladding, covering with soft metal like thin aluminum sheet. Some inorganic chemicals like anodizing treatment for aluminum cans are also made. Painting the surface does involve organic coating. Synthetic resins in oil or solvent give a continuous inert film on surface. By selecting non-corrosive metal as far as possible. By engineering design of components, avoid inbuilt stress or loading during fabrication, like no dead corners, avoid undulation or pits, self-draining slopes, rounded corners, no overhung parts, component, inbuilt thermal expansion joints, appropriate gaskets and packing materials, etc. Control of process environment, as already explained, avoid moisture accumulation around equipment, especially near its base and foundation. Avoid condensation, seepage, leakage, etc. Keep the surrounding dry as much as possible. Some general life-giving practices to be followed. Use only soft brush, fiber brush, during manual cleaning of surfaces. Remove all accumulated milk residues. Use only recommended detergents and keep the surface dry whenever the equipment is not in use. 1.5 Choice of materials. By now we have studied the specific characteristics of various metals and non-metals. The mechanical and corrosive properties will help in selecting material for Specific conditions that prevail inside a dairy plant. One must analyze the economics of material selected. A high material cost may be accompanied by ease in fabrication. Hence, significant saving of labor during fabrication, or owing to long life of equipment. Sometimes compromise is made to select inferior material due to high cost of better material. Certain equipment are made with combination such that a good material is placed on the joint of product contact, while non-contact part could be made with other materials. Example is milk tank or milk tanker. Inner wall is made of stainless steel while outer jacket could be made with mild steel. Such type of grafting can be done with proper understanding only. 1.6 Selection of milk handling and processing equipment. It is very important to select the best equipment at a reasonable cost. To do we must know the capacity of dairy plant, each process involved and purpose of this individual equipment. We should also know the period of operation or running of the equipment. The location of plant also affects the selection. In order to determine the capacity, one must know the products to be manufactured and their process of manufacture. We can then develop a product flow line diagram of each product. This will enable us to know how the milk will be handled at various stages of processing. Thus, the capacity of each equipment involved can be determined. An example is given here. A simple example. Suppose a dairy unit is to receive 10,000 liters of milk per day, 60% of milk in the morning and 40% in the evening. Normally evening milk is chilled and stored for processing in the morning. Also it is assumed that milk will be received through milk cans, and only butter and standard pasteurized milk will be manufactured. Let us make a product flow line diagram, figure 1.1, and decide capacities of individual equipment. Milk reception. Milk must be received inside the dairy within 3 hours of its arrival at the receiving point. Accordingly, milk reception rate is decided to be 2000 L/h. Normally 2 to 3 cans in a minute are to be received by an operator. Hence, a weighing machine of 250 kilograms is selected. Every 2 to 3 minutes the milk will be released into dump tank. In about 20 to 30 minutes one dump tank will get filled. Hence, the capacity of 1000 liters is enough. There may or may not be need for the second dump tank, indicated as dotted lines and shown as optional arrangement. Milk handling. Milk from dump tank must be removed quickly to enable the receiving of fresh raw milk. To do so, a high capacity milk pump is needed to unload. Therefore, a 5000 liter per hour capacity is good enough. The empty cans are sent for cleaning through a rotary can washer. The capacity of can washer will be same as that of can reception rate. Milk while pumping is required to be chilled on line. Therefore, a plate chiller of 5000 L/h is selected. The chilled raw milk will be stored in raw milk storage tank, usually insulated. Only one tank of 5000 liters is selected. Milk processing. As soon as milk reaches raw milk storage tank, the pasteurization through a HTST, high temperature short time, will be explained in Unit 2, is also followed. At this point milk passes through a centrifuge machine to remove excess of milk fat as indicated in the diagram. The standardized and pasteurized milk is stored for subsequent filling through a pouch filling machine, while the cream is stored in a vat, ripening vat cum batch pasteurizer. This vat will have about 500 kg of cream, hence, a cream pasteurizer of same size is selected. Cream after ripening is transferred into butter churn for making table butter and the butter is stored in the cold store. Similarly, standard pasteurized milk filled in pouches is stored in crates and are stacked in a separate cold store. Sizing of equipment. The size of individual processing equipment is easily determined. The actual capacity will finally be decided looking at the availability of equipment in the market. For example, milk weighing machines are of 250 and 500 kg capacity. Selection is to be made accordingly. Dump tank is normally of 1000 and 2000 liters capacity. Likewise, all the equipment indicated in the diagram are selected based on the product flow line diagram and the availability of equipment with the manufacturer, i.e. in the market. Some general aspects of equipment selection. The surface finish of equipment should be number 4, and the thickness of metal used is such that no dents or cracks are formed while working with it. All equipment should have self-draining slopes. The dismantling and assembling type joint and fittings are preferred. No threaded constructions are permitted. All connections made on the equipment are such that no projections are towards product side. All equipment should be at least 1 OCENTIMILLISECOND. above the flow level to permit cleaning of floors. 1.7 Selection of utilities. After selection of equipment, the requirement of heat, i.e. the steam, chilled water, i.e. refrigeration, electricity for various pumps and drives, the water and compressed air, etc., can be calculated. Most often the utilities required for each equipment are available from the equipment supplier. In certain cases, it may be calculated. Again, with the help of previous example of equipment selection, we shall do estimation of steam requirement, i.e., sizing the boiler. Steam requirement. Steam is most convenient source of heat in the dairy plant. The demand of heat, steam will be based on established data of product flow line. Diagram. Let us draw a chart indicating each operation on time scale as given. Below, steam load with period of operation. Steam load calculation. With the help of this simple chart, we can develop. Figure 1.2. To do so, we take a graph paper and mark the time period on abscissor. From 0 to 24-hour basis. We may further indicate 2-hourly mark. Similarly, on alternate side, we plot steam load by marking scale 0 to 700 kg at 100 kg mark. Difference. Now with the help of available information, the steam requirement is plotted. Steam requirement starts from 6 hours at the rate of 50 kg per hour for flow. Cleaning, hence, X is marked in figure 1.2 at each point on chart. The second requirement is at 8 hours for can washer and the pasteurizer. Since the three operations are at same time, the total load at 8 hours will be 50,200,300 kg per hour, i.e., 550 kg per hour. This steam load will be up to 9 hours. At 9 hours, another operation will need 50 kg per hour up to 16 hours. At 11 hours, the washer operation will be over, hence steam load reduction to the tune of 200 kg per hour, but the cream pasteurizer will need 20 kg per hour, therefore, the drop will be 180 kg per hour. The load at this point will be 420 kg per hour up to 13 hours. At 13 HR, the load of cream pasteurizer will be phased out and the load of 400 kg per hour will continue till 3 p.m. From 3 p.m. steam for pasteurizer will be shut down and thereby the load will level off to 100 kg per hour only up to 16 HR, further reduced to O by 17 hours. Similarly, the evening operation of can washing and floor cleaning will need steam from 18 hours to 21 hours on time scale. Sizing of boiler. With the above estimation, we know the maximum peak load requirement, which is 600 kg between 9 hours to 11 hours. Hence, the boiler capacity must be minimum of 600 kg per hour. Now the choice is to have either one boiler of minimum 600 kg H capacities or to split load into two of 300 kg per hour each. By having one boiler, the initial capital investment will be less, but we have no alternate boiler to act as standby. The standby boiler helps during sudden failure or breakdown. Other utilities. Similarly, we should plan load requirement of refrigeration. Compressors with one standby tube well for water supply, one air compressor for air supply and so on. Similar provisions are made at critical points, wherein we expect sudden failure. While estimating maximum load, about 20% additional load as safety margin should also be added. This is done to compensate for loss in efficiency of equipment while in use. We have suggested earlier that the size of equipment will depend on its availability in the market. In this case, boiler of 300, 500 and 1000 kg per hour are available. Hence, the most appropriate decision will be to go for two boilers of 500 kg per hour capacities. This way the second boiler will require running only during peak load. 1.8 Summary. Milk utensils in our Indian villages are made of earthenware, zinc plated or galvanized iron, brass or copper. All these do affect the quality of milk and milk products, and, therefore, the modern dairy utensils, equipment are made of tin, iron, aluminum alloys or stainless steel. The processing equipment are primarily made from stainless steel. The selection of material becomes very important, mainly with the view that these metallic elements should not enter into the milk and milk products. The concentration of copper affects the hot milk or cream, especially when washed with alkaline solution. The tin coating is also not very resistant to abrasion. These two elements influence the flavor. Similarly, iron reacts with milk salts or lactic acid and gives bitter flavor and sometimes toxic salts. Aluminum is rather chemically stable for milk and milk products. Its utmost advantage is that of its being lightweight and its insolubility into milk and is a good conductor of heat. Hence, it is one of the accepted metals. Apart from milk cans, the railings of the staircase, ladder and other support structures, which are not directly coming in contact with the hot milk, are made of aluminum. Brass is also not a desirable element as it affects the flavor. The choice, therefore, rests only with zinc, nickel and chromium-based metals known as stainless steel. As discussed, stainless steel containing 18% chromium and 8% nickel is the most popular and exhibits anti-corrosion properties. It is known as Type 302. The alloy, with a maximum 0.08% carbon, is available under the designation the 5th of August 18 Type 304. However, the surface of the equipment made of stainless steel should also be clean and kept dry. Saline solutions, salt in water, should not be used with stainless steel. Dairy equipment is, therefore, preferred to have the product contact surface made of stainless steel. While fabricating the equipment, the great hygienic care is taken to avoid any rough corners or dead ends with pockets, etc., to avoid corrosion. Dairy plants mostly have hot humid climate. Care must be taken for all those components and parts of the equipment which are made of other than stainless steel and are vulnerable for corrosion. The methods of avoiding corrosion and enhancing the life of the equipment have been discussed in detail. In order to select appropriate size of milk processing equipment and its utilities, the description has been made with examples to calculate the size of equipment required. For this purpose, the capacity of the dairy plant and the various products to be made must be decided in advance. This decision will help us to formulate a product flow line diagram, which will give sequence of operation and the equipment required. In the dairy plant, the same product flow line diagram will also provide the guidelines to decide the capacities of individual equipment. After having done the exercise of sizing the equipment, the various utilities required for the dairy can be worked out. As explained through figure 1.2, the designing of a dairy plant where we have to decide the size of various plants and machinery is also a matter of experience and not purely through calculations. The safety provision, standby and the availability of equipment in the market will ultimately decide the size of utilities required. By proper analysis, one can also plan purchase of equipment in phased manner. There could be a possibility that some equipment are required immediately while others could be deferred and purchased later. This will help in reducing the initial cost of a dairy plant. Thank you for watching. We will see you in the next video with the next chapter.